you have it. That sexy confidence for the 2020 must-have dating secrets. So you're going out. You want to get into the habit of going out with yourself, okay? Because sometimes we want to be in crowds of people. And I know that's okay. But when you are practicing sexy confidence, it's something that you do on any given day. You dress up because you know you are it. You are desirable. Remember, I often tell you that the queen is the strongest piece on the chessboard, but we have to know how to play that game. And that's why I'm giving you the must-have 2020 dating secrets. When you apply these, believe me, they're going to work. So practicing sexy confidence. That means if you go out dancing, remember, you're not there to have his baby. You're not there to have his baby. You simply want to dance. So there is nothing wrong with approaching a guy and saying, hey, I want to dance. Do you want to join me? It's simple as that. If you see someone checking you out and you show some interest, now I'm not saying that you are initiating it, because you can pay attention. You know, if somebody's, looking you up and down and all around, and, you know this. So it's nothing wrong with saying, can I give you a compliment? Now, I'm not flirting, because you're really not. You're saying, you're a good looking guy. See, that's sexy confidence. That's saying that you know how to approach someone and you know how to have a conversation. You don't have to sit there and be desperate and disgusted. Ain't no good men out there. Well, listen, depending upon where you're looking, honey, if you're still looking in the United States of America, maybe that's the case. But maybe you want to look outside of the United States of America. That means you need a passport. Yes, you do. It's about $140. And I know that you have $140 because if you look in your closet, you have spent way too much money for shoes and clothes that you can't even fit anymore. Holla. All right. So practice that sexy confidence. Get in the mirror. Look at yourself and just tell yourself how beautiful you are. How awesome you are. Now, I know. This is difficult at times because when we've experienced rejection, sometimes we take rejection personally. And instead of it just being you're overqualified, or you're not the person for the job, or you're not the person for this relationship, we take it personally. Like, what did that mean about me? Am I crazy? Am I cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? I'm not good enough. And what happens is you go back in those old tapes from back in the day, they start to play in your head. So when you see yourself now after being rejected, you don't say you're beautiful. You're like, oh, you're so fat. Look at your double chin. Do you see all that? He was right about you. You're never going to be anything. And you have to erase that, because there really is a mental health condition out there dealing with rejection. And I will hit that one day soon. All right. So that's number 3. You're practicing sexy confidence. I don't care. Listen, you might have to get you a playlist, and I have my own. When you're at home, honey, and you feeling like whoever, you might have that Lizzo thing down pat. Maybe you're Beyonce. How about you just good to be you? Okay. Kiss yourself on your shoulders, because you have come this far, honey. You are smart enough. You are tough enough. And even when you had the urge to quit, you still resisted. And that's why you're here in 2020. So we're going to practice that sexy confidence. Number 4, we're practicing person-to-person communication. Yes. This texting situation, honey, can be so misleading. And I don't know about you, but if you can't communicate and talk to me, then I don't know what we're doing here. I mean, conversation. That's a part of a relationship. And remember, when you're dating, it's really about gathering data. Dating, data. That's information. That's information. What does this person really think? What are your values? Now, I've changed my conversation when a guy comes to me and says, what are you looking for in a man? And I say, I'm not looking for anything. I am working on my dream. I'm working on my purpose, because what I know is I need to find out, does he have what it takes? Are we going in the same direction? And it's really not personal. Now, some people who don't get it, they're going to be, oh, she thinks because there's some crazy folk out there. Somebody was on, what was that? Plenty of Fish. The young woman met a guy, and they went out. She even, I guess, invited him to her place, and she had a roommate. And so after a short period of time, maybe like 3 days or so, he proposed to her, and she said no. And unfortunately, he was a psycho, and he killed that girl. Yes, he did. He killed that girl. So that's why I propose that you meet at places like Starbucks. You meet in a lobby. You can go meet at the lobby of a hotel. That doesn't mean you're going to be a hoe. It just means you want some public place where you feel free and safe, right? So you're gathering the data. You're trying to figure out, does he get angry right away? And in gathering data, sometimes it takes you a little longer than just one day, right? Just one day. It takes you much longer than one day. Let me fix something, honey. Okay. All right. I'm trying to make sure I'm there for you. And you're looking, how does he treat his family? And here's the thing. You want more than his feelings about himself. Because if you were if you were sitting and you were being judged, you're not going to tell somebody, yeah, I'm guilty, I'm trifling, you should never go out with me. No, you want to pay attention. If this gets serious, then you're going to be around his family and his friends. And you kind of just want to have a little conversation. I remember I went out with a guy not too long ago. He got fired in the process, but that's okay because we're practicing sexy confidence. And so he goes away to the men's room. And so the bartender apparently knew him. And I said, hey, what do you know about this guy? So the bartender goes, are you on a date with him? I said, yeah. And I'm just trying to get a feel for what your thoughts are. Because if anybody can watch somebody, it's definitely the bartender. He knows if the person overindulges and if the person is hitting up everything that's not nailed down. And so the guy was like, he's cool. But later I found out he was not. He decided he wanted to show me his penis on the first date. Sir, that is not necessary. And you really don't want my truth because it might really hurt your feelings. Okay, need I say more? So we're going to practice this person-to-person contact. You want to gather data. What direction are you going? What are his standards? What has he done? If a person has been here for 4 decades, that means 40 years, and they're still telling you, well, I'm working on something. Honey, do you want a project or a prospect? A project is something you have to work on. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm shopping or if I'm looking for a house, it'll say it's a fixer-upper. In 2020, I'm not fixing up anything but my house. At this stage, in my 40s, honey, either you don't give a care anymore or you're just tired. And I'm tired of being tired. And that's the only way you're going to be able to change. The same way with a person. If you get with somebody and he can do better, but he is saying to himself, I refuse to. And then you're up there because you feel the need to be needed. You feel like you need to help somebody. Honey, go help the needy. Go be a volunteer at the Salvation Army. But let this man grow up and be a man. Because number one, I said we're going to let him figure it out or he's going to go without. All right. So let's move on to number 5. We are no longer accepting the unacceptable. You understand? We're not accepting the unacceptable. It is unacceptable for you to give me your word and you don't follow through. It's unacceptable for you to speak to me like I'm some tramp because I am not a thought. I am a queen. You must know this. I am the prize. Therefore, I'm not pursuing you. Let's repeat that. You are the prize. I am not pursuing you. Have you ever had somebody come up to you, and they're like, hey, I really want to go out with you, but you ain't called me. You're like, that works both, partner, that works both ways. I'm just saying. But unacceptable. If he's emotionally not available, why do you want that? I relate. I understand. The kind where you get to see him on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and maybe on the weekend. Don't you deserve better? Don't you deserve better? Sometimes we date out of desperation or inspiration. I want you to be inspired because of the fact that you are a queen, not because you are single. And being single, you can be sexy and satisfied. That's why I'm giving you the 2020 must-have dating secrets. Because see, some people ain't going to tell you this. Maybe your mama didn't tell you this. Maybe your girlfriends didn't tell you this. And a guy who don't mean you any well, he's not going to tell you that. He's just not going to do it. So you have to level up, honey. You have to raise your standards. Your standards must be higher than your stilettos. And for some of us, we don't know how to walk in stilettos. So what do? We practice. So I'm giving you these new standards, these new secrets. So you're going to practice them. But Delores, what if he rejects me? Then you didn't need him. Maybe he doesn't fit. And some of us want to force it. Have you ever had a guy come up to you and say, hey, I respect you enough not to get involved with you? And you're saying, no, get involved with me because I really like you. And he's like, no. But you want to give it to him, right? No. You have to respect yourself. Apparently, if somebody is respecting you enough to say, this ain't gonna work, just understand, believe them when they say it. You don't even have to watch what they show you. People will tell you. If a person says to you, I respect you too much, Delores, to really get involved because I know you're the type of woman that wants to settle down. And I'm the type of man that I ain't about that life. So what would I look like still going and get up, laying up under him, knowing that I ain't even about his lifestyle as well, okay? So stop accepting the unacceptable. If somebody's lying to you, you don't need to give them a second chance to lie again. If you see something with your own eyes, why would you have to sit there for him to say, well, why, you know what, well, you shouldn't assume anything. Listen, sir, let me explain something to you. If I'm sitting there in the cut, and I watch a woman come up and she kisses you in the mouth and hugs you and you hug her back and you kiss her back. Listen, it don't take a rocket scientist to realize that she's hooking up with you some kind of way. Okay? Okay? And the person said, well, you shouldn't assume anything. I'm surprised that you have somebody else kissing you in your mouth. I don't go around just kissing anybody, do you? That's dangerous, honey. They got mono and all that other stuff out there. You better catch yourself before you wreck yourself. Now, remember, I'm Delores Jones, the comeback coach. I'm also the author of a book called Stop the Dumb Stuff. DUMB stands for destructive, unsettling, miserable behavior. If you want to know more about that, then go to my website, DoloresInspiresMe.com. And for those of you that have already become aware of who Delores is, you found me on the Fly Nubian Queen Network. So I want you to keep coming over there because there are other queens. We have so much information. That's flynubianqueen.com. You're on YouTube, right? So make sure you go ahead and hit subscribe. Subscribe to Delores Jones TV. You can also hit the notification button if you're watching on Fly Nubian Queen. So what we're talking about is the must-have 2020 dating secrets. If it didn't work for you in 2019, why would you keep doing that? Only an insane person continues to do the same thing and you expect different results. It doesn't work that way. People say, oh, it's a new year. I'm about to do a new me. Well, you need new information. And you need to stretch. And what you understand, when you've had a paradigm shift and you're stretching with new information, certain things are no longer going to appeal to you. Therefore, you're saying things like, there ain't any good men around here. No, you just haven't encountered one who fits where you're going. You're going in two different directions. There is an awesome speaker and an entrepreneur. His name is Dr. George C. Fraser. And he has this saying. He says, if you can't build with him, then you can't chill with him. Are you ready to be building? Now listen, not build Bob the Builder. You're not trying to build a man, okay? That's not your job. Your job is to help celebrate a man. Your job is to encourage him, not to a fault. Like, baby, come on, you know you can do it, baby. I know, I believe in you. I believe in you. You can get up and go to that job today. You can go to that job today. You can, seriously. Okay, if you're doing that, I'm sorry. It's 2020. 2020 is about perfect vision. So if you want to stay on the, okay, if you want to stay on the short bus, then go on head on. But if you're trying to go further along where you believe you belong, then you have to do something different. We're talking about the must-have 2020 dating secrets, so you can see perfectly. All right, so I gave you the top five. Let me hit the first five first one more time, just in case you're just now joining me, and I'm glad you are. All right, number one is let him figure it out or he will go without. You are not there to solve his problems. Why would you want to be with someone who does not know how to solve a problem? Well, because you just don't understand. No, you don't understand. Some people will play crazy. Because if you're there to catch them before they fall, why do they have to keep working at all? Same thing with your kids. Now, y'all know we quick to put our kids out at 18 years old, right? And some of them ain't even prepared. But somewhere you was like, once you be grown, you got to move on. No, you need to prepare your kids. I'm a mother of a 21-year-old young man. My son is bilingual, working on his second degree. He moved out when he was 20. He pays his own rent. He was successful for 1 year, and I keep encouraging him to keep on keeping on. But what my motto is, when you have too much mouth, it is time for you to move out. So I'd be doggone if I let some man come up and lay up on me. I'm up under somebody who can't even keep the lights on. He can't keep the lights on. Ladies, beware of the men that come out of these institutions. I was guilty. I dated and eventually married a man who had been in the penitentiary for 10 years. Now, you understand, wherever you are, you become a product of your environment. And if you don't want that to be, then you have to work on yourself. So when I start seeing the signs, I turn my intelligence off. Y'all know why we turn our intelligence off? Because we back that thing up, and he is amazing. Now, for some of us, even when they're not amazing, we just want a piece of a man. And so we think it's going to get, what they say, it's going to be greater later. No, honey, you better learn how to lock them legs up and let that man figure it out, or he's going to go without. Number 2 is fire the no call, no show. If he does not have enough respect to call you, to share with you his whereabouts, or to share that something has come up. Now, if he repeats that like a repeat offender, then you don't want to deal with that, because I'm going to give you what you give me, right? You call me, I'm going to call you. Now, people say, well, I ain't going to do tit for tat. No, you're going to be straightforward. Did you think about me? I thought about you. I can tell because you contacted me. I can tell, not only did you text me, if you know that texting isn't your thing, why would you accept that? And that goes into one of my other secrets. We're firing the no call, no show. We're practicing sexy confidence. That's a part of sexy confidence. Listen, I'm not sitting around waiting for a Tom, Dick, or Harry. Okay? I'm not doing that. I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay. I don't have time for that. I have more years behind me than I have in front of me. And if I'm sitting here giving you my time and I'm not getting anything in return, then who's the fool? Exactly. Well, Delores, you just don't understand. Okay. Ask yourself, what type of person are you becoming as a result of that relationship? Where is your life going? Do you know all it takes is one person to destroy your life? Now listen, I just saw this on the news. My heart hurts. But Bobby Christina, remember? She died of an overdose, and so did her mother. But the guy that she was dating, remember the boyfriend? He died today. He died on New Year's Eve, actually. No, New Year's Day, of an overdose, right? So see, that's why it's so important for us to remember number 4 or number 5, which is stop accepting the unacceptable. If you don't smoke, you don't smoke. If you don't drink, you don't drink. So if you don't chew, don't hang with people who do, especially if you got kids. Ladies, let me tell y'all something, one more thing here. Stop leaving your kids with people you barely know. If I see a story of one more child that lost their life because their mama left them at home with some man that you didn't even know, and I'm going to get to a secret to help you with that too. So, number 1, let him figure it out or he's going to go without. Number 2, fire the no call, no show. You ain't got enough respect for me? I holla. Number 3, practice sexy confidence. You got to know that you got it going on. And when you feel like you don't, you need to remind yourself that you do, or you need to put on something. What's your favorite thing? Your favorite song that gets you going. You be like, that's my song. Whatever it is. Okay. Number 4, we're practicing person-to-person communication. Can you reach out and touch me? I can't touch you through a text message. I can't text you through video conferencing. And I think that's cool too, but there has to be a point where I see you. Ladies, listen, if I hear one more story about a woman who met somebody from another country, you never saw him, but you heard his story, and he told you to send him some money. Really? Are you that desperate? I want to believe you're desperate, not dumb. Now, my book says stop the dumb stuff. Dumb stands for destructive, unsettling, miserable behavior. Only you can do that. In fact, here's my book. Okay? I don't know if you can see that really good, but stop the dumb stuff. Dumb stands for destructive, unsettling, miserable behavior, right? This is a woman's guide for being responsible for the relationships we have and the decisions we make. It is your choice. You choose to be happy or you choose to be broke. You choose to act dumb or you choose to act like you got some good sense that the good Lord gave you. I know sometimes we turn off our intelligence, especially when the loving is good. Okay, but loving don't pay the bills, honey. Okay. All right. So listen, that person-to-person contact. So let's go to number 5. Remember, stop accepting the unacceptable. It don't work for you. It don't work for you. You don't want somebody talking to you like that? Hey, partner, it don't work for me. That don't work for me. And don't let somebody manipulate you into thinking that it doesn't work for you. You know, sometimes we get caught up in narcissistic relationships because I was guilty of this. Somebody I really didn't like because I didn't like how he was talking. But I took it as a challenge. And sometimes that's not a good thing. And so I remember saying, I don't like him. I told somebody, he gets on my nerves. I don't even like him. And I married him. Yes. Go figure. I thought it was a challenge. But when you meet a narcissistic person, that's a mental thing for them. You ain't Jesus. Okay? And you sure ain't God. I tell people every day, I say, listen, try Jesus. I love Jesus, but I'm not Jesus. You need to try Jesus. Don't try me. You might get your feelings hurt. And I meant that. Okay, so let's go to number 6. We only have 7, so we're on number 6. Number 6, trust and verify. People say, you don't trust me? Yeah, I trust you. No, we're going to verify. Are you a convict? Are you a child molester? So some people don't want to say, I do background checks. So this is something a little bit more sophisticated. You say, I trust and verify. I trust you to be exactly who you are. But you also going to go do some investigating. Why would you leave somebody in your house around your kids? Or why would you be around somebody? You know, growing up, if ever I went on a date, and to this day I still do it, my grandmother who raised me, she always said, whenever you go somewhere, Dee Dee, you need to let me know. You need to let LaRon know. Somebody needs to know where you are. You need phone numbers. You need addresses. Even if you're going out of town. And I still practice that. Now, if a person says to you, I don't see the need for that, then guess what? You're not going. You're not going. We are not going because you're going to trust and verify. Now, I trust you until you show me something differently. But still, y'all know we got that sixth sense, you know, that woman's intuition. Something quite ain't right. It's just something ain't right. Let me research this thing. Let me not be so desperate that I just, don't even go into the discovery zone. And that's why dating is about data. Data. You're looking for things. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. It's not a chicken. It's a duck. Believe me. So that's number 6, trust and verify. You can go on the computer, wherever you live, you can put people's names in there and it'll bring up if they were divorced, if they, if they had a history of assault, if they've been on probation. And here's the thing. I don't care if you meet the person in church. Let me tell you something. Hurting people go to church. Why? Because we need help. And some of us are broken and some of us are doing better because we put in the work. Because you can pray all day, all you want to, but if you don't get new information and you don't work on that thing, then you're just going to be a broken person sitting up in church reading the Bible. So even if you meet somebody at church, that is not clearance. Church does not give them did you hear what I said? So I remember meeting this guy, really nice person. We sang in the choir together. Very good looking man. Very good looking. Went out. Then I went over his house to visit. And I said to him, hey, I do background checks. He was like, you do? I said, yeah. I'm not giving you my coochie and I don't even know who you are. He still didn't get no coochie anyway, right? But why would you lay up with somebody you don't even know? I know you get horny sometimes. I understand what that is. I have to ask God to give me a spirit of sleepy so I don't do anything stupid. So I didn't even have to do his background check. You know what this man told me? He said, well, I need to tell you something. He says, I'm a registered sex offender. I said, come again? He said, I'm a registered sex offender. So I'm listening to him. Now, I didn't have a daughter. I had a son. But either way, I had a son. So he went on to share with me how he got this case maybe 11 years ago. But I listened to his conversation. And he was telling me about he got involved with a young woman who was under 18. Now, he was married at the time. He had a wife. So he goes on and goes on. And then this is the thing that gave it away. He said, she knew she really wanted it. It doesn't matter if she wanted it. She was underage and you were a grown man. So that let me know he wasn't remorseful. It has nothing to do with whether or not she wanted it or not. You're a grown man. She's a kid. She is a kid. Okay? So stop kidding yourself. When someone says something like that to you, warning. So what did I do? I had to get on because I knew if anybody touched my son, mamas, y'all know how we are about our kids. And I know, because you know, once we're traumatized and molested, I've been there, I know this, it doesn't just leave you. And you're wondering, where are the people who were there to protect you? And so you can't become so comfortable and distracted by your desires that you forget to protect those that you are responsible for. Because I heard somebody say men are like buses. They keep on going. They're going to keep on going. They're going to keep on going. And you need to figure out if you're getting on the right bus. So that was number 6. Number 7, I'm chasing after God. I'm not chasing after a boo. These are the secrets. I'm no longer chasing after a man. I am chasing after God's plan for my life. I am chasing after the mission, the vision for my life. I've spent plenty of years chasing a man. Who didn't want to chase you back? But your feelings was hurt. You're going to have to get over your feelings and face the facts. The fact is, you are a powerful person. You are a powerful woman. But until you spend time with yourself, you will never know that. Are you one of those people that you just don't want to be alone? I want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. Maybe you have to sleep with the TV on. Maybe you need to sleep with some music on. Right now, as a single woman by choice, I have a puppy. I have a dog. Her name is Delores, honey. And that keeps me focused because I know I have to come home. I have to take her out. I have to make sure she is fed properly because I'm a good dog owner, right? And today, I spent my day for the New Year's. Hi, Delores. You in there sleeping? I gave her a bath. And I had to take my time giving her a bath and brushing her hair and making sure she was okay. And I didn't just throw her in the water. I had a little sponge. I made the right type of shampoo, you know, because she had fleas. But that kept me focused. Last night was Christmas Eve. No, it was New Year's Eve. But you know what I knew? It's Delores Jones. You taking your happy hips back home after the clock strikes 1. And you think they're done shooting because Bella Rose is at home and you need to go home and let her out or you're going to have an accident on your hand. And so, yes, it was very tempting, honey. It was very tempting. But I had to remember what my priority was. That was, you got a dog at home. Now, I know with children, you feel like, well, the oldest one can watch the other one. No, that's not their job. Your job as a mother, as a parent, is to make sure those kids are secure. And if you're not there, then you put them with someone who is safe, not just because you met him. I remember this girl, a young woman. Listen, ladies, listen. I understand when you have a child and you find yourself single because either you had a child and you got with somebody and you thought he was going to be there, or you were married like I was and you had a divorce. And somewhere there's a lie that comes up and says, you know, ain't nobody gonna want nobody with kids. And that same lie came to me. I was married for 7 years. And when I left with my son. And that conditioning, female slave conditioning, you gotta ask yourself, was I conditioned? And of course, a lot of us are. So you have to go recondition yourself. And so for just 1 second, I heard, ain't nobody gonna want you. You got a son. And I said, devil, you a liar. And the truth ain't in you. And your cousin is too. Because you got to hear yourself sometimes. Just because you feel it and you've heard it doesn't mean you have to receive it. I'm going to say that again. Just because you feel it and you heard it does not mean you have to receive it. This is your decision. I did a video the other day and I said, tell the devil he's a damn lie. Okay? Okay. And then I did one called, tell him Hell no. Now, I'm a good Christian woman. I'm more spiritual than anything. I'm not down with a lot of religion, but I will say that religion provides a certain structure. And as long as I have no problems with it, then we're okay. But at this stage and game of my life, I have to be willing to hear what God is saying to me. You know, and so I still attend church, but for 30 years, I was at the same church doing praise and worship. I was a dancer. I was on the altar team. I did it all for 30 years. And you know what happens once you leave after 30 years? You don't get a pen. You don't get a plaque. You know what I'm saying? We might want to appreciate some people. But at this stage, when I have become aware of what my mission is, God has told me that your millions are in your mouth, Delores. You can keep trying to get a job as a social worker because you got your master's in social work with an emphasis in mental health, or you are a professional broadcast journalist, award-winning journalist, and you could go over there and apply for the TV station, but that is not what your destiny is. I'm making it very clear to you, ma'am. The message in your mouth is meant to save lives. And I heard it clear when a woman said to me, Delores Jones, how many more women have to die before you start sharing your story? See, what you don't know is I was born to a 15-year-old single mother. My mother was gorgeous. Her name was Marianne Jones. At 5 years old, my mom didn't come home. And I found out she wasn't going to come home because she was dead. She died of an overdose. Very tragic. I was her eldest. I was her daughter, only daughter, and I had 2 younger brothers. So I was 5. My middle brother was 3, and my baby brother, he was 1. And we all had different fathers. And y'all know what they say, mama's baby, daddy's maybe. So that meant I literally grew up without my mother and my father. So that made me susceptible to things maybe I didn't want to tolerate because for whatever reason, you may feel like it's all you got. You don't want to be abandoned. Can you imagine that? You're 5 years old. I looked at one of my relatives and she was 5 and I called her my niece and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. So young, so impressionable, so innocent. And see, on your way, you're going to figure it out. That's what Tiffany Haddish said. You can judge her all day if you want to, but if you don't have a parent that tells you about sex and truth and shows you about love, then you're going to learn it the best way you can. So don't let anybody judge you. So for me, I'm burying my mother when I'm 5. She was 21 years old. So my goal was to live to be 21. That was it. Divorce, if you can get to 21. And I remember getting married at 23. And I remember laying on the sofa, like in a fetal position. And I started crying and I said, I just need you to tell me that I'm going to be okay. And my husband at the time, who is now my husband, because he was my husband, he said, you miss your mother? I thought, I miss her like crazy. I miss her smell. I miss her touch. I didn't even want to let her go. There were times I went to the grocery store and I just thought she just needed to take a break. And so I remember seeing women who reminded me of her. And I said, Dee Dee, that's my nickname. Your mom just took a break. She's going to come walking down the aisle in this grocery store and she's going to come up to you. And I believed that for many years until recently I realized, she wasn't coming back. She wasn't coming back. So what was I doing? I was chasing after affection. I was chasing after stability, especially after being 17 and homeless because drugs was back in our home. And you know what we do as Black folk, we don't tell nobody our business. Baby, you better tell somebody something before you cut your own wrist. I understand that. And so how can you go through that and not be traumatized? But it is your responsibility. The same way we're talking about the must-have 2020 dating secrets, you must have a way to take care of yourself. If you're going to call yourself a grown woman, and let me say, some of y'all say this pretty nicely, I'm a grown ass woman. If you're going to be grown ass, you need to get into some therapy and you really need to grow the hell up. Because there are certain people that are not going to babysit you. You want this type of man, but do you have the credentials for that? Sometimes we want a better job, but do you have the skill set for that? As a college professor, there are certain classes students could not take until they took a class called a prereq. A prerequisite gives you the foundation so that by the time you came to my class, you knew what I was talking about because I don't have time to go back. and you had to pass the prereq. So you weren't just going to jump into this thing. You know, when I went to the journalism school, I didn't just say, hey, I want to be on TV. No, at the time I was at the #1 journalism school. So you had to audition. You had to take a quiz about current events. It wasn't about looking pretty. It wasn't about making a lot of money. It was like, do you make sense? Can you tell a story in 60 seconds or less? And it was not comfortable. And they had prereqs. And certain people didn't cut. They was, I ain't dealing with this. I'm not. But I stayed the course. So if you want to be this grown woman and you want to have this life of your dreams and you want to attract beautiful things and successful people, then you got to do the work. You got to do the work. Stop chasing after a boo and a man. Mind your business. But I don't have any business. Whose fault is that? Well, you don't understand. I dropped out. Well, you can get back in. Life for me has not been a crystal staircase, honey. I've dealt with depression so debilitating that I had to come off of my job. My doctor told me, Delores, you are no longer going to be able to be a master's level social worker. But what did I do? I was like, I got these student loans, honey. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going up in here. I got these student loans. And one day my body just shut down. And what I had to realize is I could take the same skill set and I could come and work with you. So some of your skills are transferable. But if you don't have anything to work with, then what you gonna do? I'll wait. What would happen if you chased your dream and your destiny the same way you chase a no good for nothing, won't do anything type of man? You know, some of us we're faithful, but we're faithful to dead things, dead jobs, dead relationships. Some of us will go to work and we'll work just enough so they don't fire us, and then they will pay us enough so that we won't quit. Ain't I right about it? I know I'm right about it. I know it's tight, but I know I'm right. So listen, Delores Jones is my name. I'm your comeback coach. My job is simply to help you bounce back better, not bitter, through life experiences and bad decisions. And the reason you are bitter is because you really don't think you can be better, or you bought into a lie of what somebody said to you, like, you're not a good mother. You're a horrible mother. I heard that before. And I looked at him like, Ninja, let me tell you something. You ain't pushed no baby out of nothing. And at the end of the day, the only person that can judge me as a mother is my son. But it was hurtful to hear my husband, the person I had the baby with, tell me I was horrible. But you know what? Like I said, tell the devil he's a damn lie. Don't let somebody's opinion of you become your reality. Maybe I wasn't the right wife for you, but I sure as hell am an awesome mother, or my son will be sitting somewhere kicking rocks. But I demand excellence. I say, hey, we don't come up in here with anything lower than a C. We don't do that. She don't do that. You sit your butt down. We can ready to go through these assignments. Well, I ain't doing it. Well, you're going to sit right here with me. And you're going to make the sacrifices. And no, sometimes your kids will say, I hate you. They'll get over it, because you used to say dumb stuff like that too. But then you want to look for the promise. And if you're saying, well, God, you promised me a better 2020, what do you have to do? You want the picture, but you have to have the process, right? Picture, process. You're not going to get that picture if you don't go through the process, and you're not going to get that cake if you don't go through the process with the right ingredients. So in other words, what does it take to make or present the life that you say you want? You need a vision board. What is the vision board? What is it that you want to manifest? So that's why I showed you and told you about and talked about the 2020 must-have dating secrets. You notice I didn't say dating rules, or I didn't say things not to do. No, because the focus is on what are you going to do. Because if you focus on what you're not going to do, the negative, then it's called the law of attraction. There's something called the RAS, the reticular activating system in your brain, meaning whatever you tell your brain or whatever your brain sees on paper, it begins to identify that thing. Let me give you a case in point here. You all have your own car. I don't know what kind of car you have. I've had a BMW, but right now I have a Volkswagen. But say, for instance, you have a BMW. And it was that one BMW, and you kept focusing on it. And you was like, I'm going to get that BMW. I'm going to get that BMW. So you get the BMW, right? Because you get it, because that was something you wanted, and you gave it all you got. But as soon as you pull that car off the lot, what do you start seeing? Toyotas? Mercedes? Nope. You notice every BMW, but it was already there. It just wasn't important to you because your reticular activating system, they call RAS, was not focused on that. So that's why we're talking about the must-have 2020 dating secrets. Why is it a secret? Because some of us talk too much. It's a secret. I'm giving you the secret. Now it's up to you to use the secret. It's a secret. That means don't talk too much. You know what? I'm gonna leave you because you know what? Delores said, say no to no shows and no calls. He don't need to know that. When we're talking about a secret, it's I can show you better than I can tell you. I don't have to argue with you. I don't have to raise my voice. I don't even have to shout or jump about. I have to talk real loud because when you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say it's in the reach of my arm, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, and the curl of my lips because I'm a woman phenomenally. Phenomenal woman. That's me. Rest your soul, Dr. Maya Angelou. All right? That's why we are here. We are here to build each other up. I have secrets. I'm giving these secrets to you so that you can produce and be fruitful. I'm the owner of a company called Finally Free. What do? I'm glad you asked. I help women make bold moves beyond labels, limitations, and low self-esteem. Labels, limitations, and low self-esteem. Labels, limitations, and low self-esteem. And part of the challenge is once we accept a label, we place limits upon ourselves, and then it doesn't give us a healthy self-esteem. So once again, it's the process. I want you to say this in closing. It's not what I'm called, it's what I answer to. Will you answer the call 2020? Will you set these standards for yourself? And in the process, share these standards with your girls, with your nieces, because they are watching you. Why would I get mad at you when I'm modeling something crazy? We have to take back our power. We have to say, I'm not going to leave it to the celebrities to teach my child about character, to teach my daughter about self-esteem, to teach my daughter about self-respect or how to dress. It's called a standard of excellence. There's a saying that says, if you treat a man as how he is, he'll become worse. But if you treat a man, and I'm going to say woman, as she could be, she becomes who she should be. You should be positioned for greatness. 2020 is our year. I'm Delores Jones, the Comeback Coach. I'm going to be here on YouTube. I'm going to be here on Facebook and Instagram and online classes and some other wonderful things that are coming down, down the pipe. But you got to be prepared because whatever you practice in private is what's going to show up in public. It's just that simple. Make sure that you go ahead and click tag and share the video. Hit that notification button if you're on YouTube, on Delores Jones TV. Definitely on Fly Nubian Queen, where I got my start. I'm so grateful for doing that for 2 years and still coming back for more. That's right, flynubianqueen.com. Hey, if you want to know more about my book, Stop the Dumb Stuff, go to DoloresInspiresMe.com. I can drop it into the mail. I can drop it in the mail for you, honey, but get ready for the workshop and the online course, okay? Be good to yourself. Please be good to yourself. If you can't be good to anybody else, please be good to yourself. And take the 2020 must-have dating secrets. There are 7 of them. Number 1, let him figure it out or he'll go without. Number 2, fire the no-call, no-show guy. 3, practice sexy confidence. 4, practice person-to-person communication. 5, no longer accept the unacceptable. 6, trust and verify. Don't just take a person's word on it. Make sure you can back it up with evidence. And number 7, chase after God or your goals and not a boo. Okay? Spend your energy wisely. We all have the same number of days, the same number of hours in a day, 24. How will you spend yours going into 2020? Have a very blessed day and an incredible life, everyone. All right? Have an incredible life. Have an incredible life. Be blessed now. Bye-bye.